Example 1 of converting scientific notation to decimal notation. The first step we need to do is rewrite the number. In this case, I'm going to rewrite 3.6 and just rewrite it. The second thing I'm going to do is find the exponent and circle it. In this case, it's -5. Alright, that number is going to tell us which way to move the decimal point and how many places we're going to move it. Since it is a negative, we are going to move it to the left. Alright, and since it's a 5, we're going to move it 5 places to the left. So the decimal point is right here, and we're going to move it 5 places to the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to put my new decimal point. And in these empty spaces, we're going to put zeros because those are the placeholders. And then to get my answer, I'm going to rewrite that. In this case, 0.0000036. And I'm going to circle my answer. And that's converting a number from scientific notation to decimal notation. Example 2 for scientific notation. What we're going to do this time is write the number in scientific notation. The first step we have to do is move the decimal until the number is between 1 and 10. In this case, the decimal is right here, and we're going to move it so that this new number is between 1 and 10. And in order to do that, I'm going to move it right there. Alright, that will make the number 7.09, which is between 1 and 10. The next step is to rewrite that number so that it's between 1 and 10. And then I'm going to add times 10 because I want it to make a power of 10. And then I have to figure out what the exponent is. In this case, the exponent is going to be how many places I've moved the decimal. In this case, it's 1, 2, 3. So I know it's going to be a 3. It's going to be a positive number if the number I started with is larger than 1. And it's going to be a negative number if the number I started off is less than 1. In this case, 0.00709 is less than 1. So it will be a -3. Alright, so my answer is 7.09 times 10 to the -3, and I'm going to circle my answer. Thank you. Example 3. Write the number in scientific notation. So what we're going to do is write 23 billion into scientific notation. The first step what we're going to have to do is move the decimal place until the number is between 1 and 10. And in order to do that, I'm going to put a decimal right there to make 23 billion into 2.3. And as we can see, 2.3 is between 1 and 10. So I'm going to rewrite that, 2.3, and I'm going to add the times 10 because it's in base 10. Alright, and then I'm going to count how many places I had to move the decimal. Remember that the decimal originally started at the end, which is right there, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 places. So my exponent is going to be 10, and now I have to check whether it should be a positive 10 or a negative 10. If the exponent is positive, the number that we start with will be greater than 1. And in this case, 23 billion is large. Scientific notation. So the first thing you're going to do is write down the sentence frames and then fill in the blanks. In the problem, blank, when the exponent is positive, blank, you will move the decimal point to the blank, blank places. And it will look like blank in decimal notation. So in the first blank, you need to create a problem that is in scientific notation. All right. And then you have to tell me what the exponent will be. And then you have to tell me what direction you're going to have to move the decimal point and how many places. And then in the last blank, you're going to tell me what it's going to look like in decimal notation. Second sentence frame for scientific notation. In the problem blank, when the exponent is negative blank, you will move the decimal point to the blank blank places, and it will look like blank in decimal notation. In the first blank, you will put a problem in scientific notation that has a negative exponent. In the second blank, you'll tell me what that exponent is that's negative. And then in the third blank, you'll tell me which direction you're going to move the decimal point. In the fourth blank, how many places you're going to move the decimal point. And in the last blank, you're going to write new problem in decimal notation. Sentence frame number 3. If the number is larger than 1, like blank, then the exponent will be a positive blank and will be written in scientific notation like blank. Remember, the coefficient is between 1 and 10. So in the first blank, you're going to put a number in decimal notation that is larger than 1. In the second blank, you're going to tell me how many places you move the decimal, so what your new exponent will be when you rewrite it in scientific notation. And in the third blank, you're going to write what the new form is in scientific notation. Sentence frame 4. If the number is less than 1, like blank, then the exponent will be a negative blank, and it will be written in scientific notation like blank. Remember, the coefficient is between 1 and 10. So in the first blank, you're going to write a number that is smaller than 1, so it should be a decimal. The second blank will be the exponent, or how many places you had to move the decimal to make the number between 1 and 10. And then the third blank will be what that looks like in scientific notation.